Ciao tutti, benvenuti al Facile come Italiano. Hello everybody, welcome to Easy as Italian. I'm Reza, and finally today we are gonna talk about subjunctive or congiuntivo in Italian language. Well, we're gonna talk about how we can use it, where does it come, and how we can make it, and many other things, to be honest. But right now, I wanna remind you that we talked about indicatives in Italian language, like the simple present, simple future, passato prossimo, imperfetto, and other things, right? Then we talked about conditionals, conditional present and conditional past, and we finished that. Now we're going to talk about subjunctives or congiuntivo. Actually, well, subjunctive has four tenses itself, and today we're going to talk about the subjunctive present. Now, subjunctive, where does it come? You know, sometimes you use some words, or for example, a verb, to talk about some desires, some thoughts, some ideas, right? Now, when you talk about those in Italian language, the next sentence should come in subjunctive. For example, I say, I think this house is very beautiful. I think I'm expressing my idea. I'm expressing a thought. Now the sentence after that, this house is very beautiful, should come in subjunctive. Okay? I think you got it. Now let's see how we can make subjunctive. So we say that subjunctive is a pretty easy tense to make, especially the present form of it. For example, in the first, we have three forms of verbs. You know them. Are, the verbs that end with are, the verbs that end with ire, and the verbs that end with ere. Now for the verbs that end with are, we have an example like trovare. Okay, to find, it's the simplest we can use. Trovare. We take are, trov, the root, we get it. Now, for the first three pronouns, the first pronoun singular, second pronoun singular, and the third pronoun singular, we just put an I after trov. Trovi, trovi, trovi. Okay, trovi, trovi, trovi. I find, you find, he or she finds. As easy as that. Then for the plurals, the first two, I mean all of them actually, are pretty similar to the simple present conjugation. So it would be troviamo, troviate, trovino. Okay, trovino. I mean, it's pretty easy. The first three were the same. And the second three were just like simple present. Just a slightly different. Now for the verbs that end with ire, we have, for example, sentire, to hear or to feel, the simplest we can use, kinda. We take ire, the root sent, then here we add a after that. Senta, senta, senta. Again, all the first three are the same. I hear, you hear, he or she hears. Senta, 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 and then the first two of plural are the same as trovare. So, sentiamo, sentiate. And the last one, instead of ino, gets ano. So, sentano. Okay, senta, 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 sentiamo, sentiate, sentano. Pretty easy. Now, the verbs that end with ere have just the same conjugation as the ones that end with ire. So, for example, we have leggere. We take ere, legge, legga, 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 leggiamo, leggiate, leggano. Finished. It's how we make it. It's super easy. But remember the irregulars. Italian, the language of irregularities. We have some irregular verbs for sure too, but way less than the other tenses. Well, for sure, essere and avere are irregular, as always. But they are not as hard as you think they would be. Essere, how would be the conjugation? Sia, sia, sia. Yes, it's still irregular, but again, the first three are the same. Sia, sia, sia. Siamo, siate. That is pretty similar again to the present conjugation and siano. For avere, abbia, abbia, abbia. Again, all the first three are the same. Abbia, 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 abbiamo, abbiate, abbiano. There is no difficulty in this tense. Now, these are the most important irregular verbs you may want to know. Actually, it doesn't have many irregular verbs. Maybe I can say one of the irregular verbs you may want to use a lot would be stare. Stare, to be. Just in the physical way, I've explained what is the difference between stare and essere before. If you want, you can check it out. Stare, the conjugation is pretty similar to essere, kinda. The way of saying that. It would be stia, 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 stiamo, stiate, stiano. Pretty similar in my opinion. Now it's done. Let's go. Here's some examples so we can understand it way better. Finally, the examples, but before I say them, I would like to tell you a tip. You try to remember that, it would help you in the future. There are some verbs, okay, you have to find them and be careful about them, because when you're using them, they mostly bring a subjunctive after themselves. Some verbs like pensare, to think, or credere, to believe, or sperare, to hope. These verbs represent a thought, right? Or ritenere, that means something between pensare or credere, that again represents a thought or an idea. Or we can also say sometimes volere, because it has again a high chance of bringing a subjunctive after itself, because it represents a desire, okay? So be careful about these verbs when you're using them. You can notice if you have to use subjunctive after them or not. So now, I wouldn't confuse you anymore. Let's see the examples. The first example, I can say, spero vi sentiate bene. Spero, I hope, vi sentiate. Sentiate is coming from sentire, to feel. And I've said when we're using sentire as the meaning to feel, we have to put a reflexive objective pronoun before that. Sentirsi. Before that, it would come vi here, because we are using sentiate, the second pronoun, plural. So, vi sentiate, you feel bene, well. I hope you feel well. Spero vi sentiate bene. Now, there is something optional you can do. You can put a che before our subjunctive sentence, okay? Like, spero che vi sentiate bene. It's optional, depends on your taste. Actually, I put it almost always, I use subjunctive. But you choose by yourself. And now I can, for example, turn just this sentence to spero che stiate bene. I'm getting confused myself. Spero che stiate bene. Stiate coming from stare. That can have the same meaning. Just the meaning, I hope you feel well, would turn into I hope you are well. As easy as that. Let's see the next example. Ti aiuto perché tu superi l'esame. Ti aiuto, I help you, perché, for that or so, tu superi, you pass, l'esame, the exam. Superi from superare, to pass, okay? Now, ti aiuto perché tu superi l'esame. I help you so you pass the exam. This one, dicono che Pietro parli bene l'italiano. Dicono, they say, it's an idea. Dicono, they say, che, that, Pietro, parli, speaks, bene italiano, well Italian. They say that Pietro speaks Italian well. Dicono che Pietro parli bene l'italiano. Easy. Let's see the next one. This one works with a desire. Non voglio che tu paghi la cena per tutti. Non voglio, I don't want che that tu paghi, you pay la cena, the dinner per tutti, for everyone. Non voglio che tu paghi la cena per tutti. I don't want you to pay for dinner for everyone. Lei pensa che siamo bravi amici. Lei pensa, she thinks, che that siamo, we are bravi amici, good friends. She thinks that we are good friends. Lei pensa che siamo bravi amici. Ritengo che stia facendo un'ottima scelta. Ritengo, I think, che that stia facendo. You are making, it's gerund. Un'ottima scelta. Well, scelta means choice. Fare means to do or to make, right? So, fare scelta means to make choice. Just like in English. Now, stia facendo una scelta. You are making a choice. Stia facendo un'ottima scelta. You are making a great choice. You are making a nice choice. So, ritengo che stia facendo un'ottima scelta. I think you are making a great choice. The last example. È meglio che studi di più per un voto più alto. È meglio. It's better. It's better che that. Studi di più. You study more. Per, for, un voto è grade, più alto, higher. Okay, taller or higher. So, it's better that you study more for a higher vote, for a higher grade. Okay? And that's it. The examples are finished. I hope it has been useful for you. And I hope you've learned subjunctive pretty well. In the future, we would use it more in our conversations for sure. Now, if you liked it, then put a thumbs up under this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. I will see you next couple of days. Have fun.